Let's jump into this, y'all.
Last night a bitch nigga shot a real nigga, but we don't make no diss records, we just deal with it. Plus I be going through a lot, I never talk about it, and they using niggas songs in court, so I can't talk about it. Rap niggas think I'm dumb, like I don't see the play. I let them think they got the ups, they get them out the way. On FaceTime, my brother telling me he shot my mama, telling me to chill, but I know he seen that nigga face. But that's enough about that part. Talking about respect, well, it's a must about that part. Playing with my money, well, then it's up about that part. Cause when it's time to play ball, don't give a fuck about that part. They know I'm that nigga when they see me. Her man crush been a hater, her little brother won't beat me. Her friend been on my dick since I was passing out CDs. Her baby daddy a mark and her boyfriend probably a weenie. 3,300 on my book bag. Left some niggas in the past, but I don't look back. Shit kinda different, I ain't the man that I was. I seen death in too many forms and I ain't never really shook that. Don't let him rock you to sleep, true colors better believe him. I know that God got me, but I be riding with my Reaper. Praying with my kids and even then I got my heater. And I be stepping so hard, this hoes in $1,000 sneakers. Take your bitch when I meet her and you ain't seen her in about 3 days. Knew I was a threat, I passed that stick like a relay. Spin it back to back, it's like a motherfucking replay. Turn your son into a bitch when I shoot, I think I'm D-Wade. Told him I'm a savage, if I want it, I'ma have it. Playing with my lettuce, cook your head like a cabbage. Tell them that I'm rich and I'm solid, that's the advantage. Bitch, bad kids, fresh little nigga, you can't stand it. Tell them big checks, yardsticks, not a roof. All I smoke is ops and I don't never smoke a hookah. Looking for a blessing that's worth of Jesus and Judas. Tell them niggas game 6, my whole team full of shooters. I slide on a nigga like a motherfucking flip-flop. Pressure on your homie and I promise he a flip-flop. Talking that wookie-woo, something. I know the police listen, so I ain't really saying nothing. I know these niggas envy, they can't manage how they feel. Jealousy's for bitches, you niggas pussy for real. A nigga get the drop and he happen to shoot. First we heal up and get back. We ain't going on the shirt, I swear to God.
That woo-woo, some. Know the police listen, so I ain't saying nothing. Talking that woo-woo, some. Nigga cock back and aim and leave you bleeding where you running. Swear to God, nigga.
What's the deal, y'all? What's the deal?
It was like, I could have.
I have been working.
We're Sharper tapping in CNN Trap News Network. Back in the same, like cook, cracking the same here at CNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge you ain't finna get in nobody's college. Good
It
news
was
you can use.
like,
Good knowledge you ain't
if
finna
you
get
want
nobody's
uncut
college.
and extended
tap in
vote.
with that tap in. If you ain't tapped in with that good tap in. You feel me? Hit that notification bell. Hit say tapped in for the latest and the greatest. Everything we got going on here at CNN Trap News Network. Hit that Instagram, TRAPNEWS, NETWORX, Trap News Network. Get into that if you ain't got into that. Become a part of this Rich Trapper Mafia. This is a paid partnership, so make sure you tap in with this potentially paid partnership. Get in with us, man. You want to be a correspondent. And hit the description to sign the petition. Get Pathetic Fatso out of these greater United Staters. You feel me? Support to deport all 2024, 2025, going into the 2028. You feel me? We finna go into this content, man. Big U's legal team has some new things that they need to worry about. You know what? Yeah, let's see what they talking about. Let's jump into it. You know what? Nah. I'll say this for later. Let's get into 1090 Jake. He got some things going on. Hold on. Boom. Let's get into
some crazed fan attempt. Detective Danny Polo is not just some crazed fan of 1090 Jake. He's actually a member of the multi-agency gang task force that's based out of Broward, one of several agencies that investigated the street aspect of the prison drug operations that 1090 Jake exposed during his interview on the news. As I've established already, that whistleblower interview led to shakedowns at several prisons. Those shakedowns produced cell phones, and those cell phones produced tons of information, including information about guys that were on the streets, and led to some charges against a lot of people. After this news clip, in which Jake admitted that he was doing it with the intent to bust up the drug operation.
I was trying to shed light on inmate deaths in the system and how many overdose deaths were being reported as natural or accidental. I was sent videos by current prisoners who couldn't get the message out, so I used my platform to be their voice.
Jake was recognized as a credible source by law enforcement all throughout the state of Florida, including Detective Danny Polo, who was also a deputized special agent with the DEA and ATF. Most notably, Detective Danny Polo recognized that in these times, everybody posted everything on social media, including gang members and gang affiliations. So, When he wanted to learn about these Florida prison gangs that he was investigating for this drug operation, he started watching 1090 Jake. Because 1090 Jake had all of these Florida prison inmates come on and divulge information about the workings from the inside. 1090 Jake also identifies himself as this big bad blood and brings other inmates on to vouch for him, which at minimum makes him a credible source of information on the Bloods as far as law enforcement is concerned. So it was like finding gold at the end of a rainbow when Detective Danny Polo heard 1090 Jake on No Jumper discussing sex, money, murder.
I hit up the Island Boys because they're talking about they were saying they were sex, money, murder.
Right, yeah.
All right, well, you in the state of Florida, so if you're gonna be that, there's a specific you have to know. I wanted to know if he knew that specific person. He didn't.
Not Chico,
That is an incredible admission of a lot of things that are going to be used against these dudes later on in a RICO. 1090 Jake has taken down sex, money, murder. Goodness gracious.
Gotta kidnap them?
Nah, I'm talking about a real blood. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows each other. Everyone can get in contact. That's how you figure out who ain't what they say it is.
1090 Jake had already given Detective Danny Polo a starting point by posting on his YouTube channel that documented gang member 21 Murky was responsible for blessing the Island Boys in.
Surprisingly, Fly was a likable person and kept everything real, which is what I respect about him. More or less, the Island Boys were blessed in to sex, money, murder by a rapper named 21 Murky, who's apparently from Florida but affiliated with 21 Savage's people out in Atlanta.
Detective Danny Polo would stay true to his word and began scrubbing the social media of Jakevius Smith, aka 21 Murky. And this would help him tap into the street side of the prison drug operation that he was investigating. Eventually, Detective Danny Polo would work his way to the top of the street hierarchy and would break the news via a press conference from Polk County that they had brought charges against sex, money, murder, including this person who they identified as the leader in Florida. I guess the guy that Jake says that you have to know, Hernando Thompson, aka T-Murder. Evidence uncovered during that investigation would lead to a second round of charges against sex, money, murder. And this whistleblower interview / prison tip turn wiretap case would prove to be big and shake the entire South.
This suspected leader of a notorious violent gang in Florida has been captured in Hastings thanks to a joint effort by the St. John's County.
Bro looked like he just came straight from the trailer park. Like, bro look for sure, it's real trailer parky. For sure, real trailer parky.
Sheriff's Office and Broward County Sheriff's Office. 23-year-old Andrew Mariano was arrested when 2 agencies raided his home. And investigators say Mariano is one of 10 suspected senior leaders of the sex, money, murder, blood gang known as SMM.
SMM is a set of the Bloods street gang that operates along the East Coast. News4Jax reporter Eric Avenue joining us now with more on this major gang investigation. Eric?
You know, Joy, it's amazing to see how far this investigation stretched and how many jurisdictions actually got involved with this. Now, this is a multi-year investigation led by the Broward County Sheriff's Office. The investigation started in South Florida with the arrest of 2 commanders of the sex, money, murder blood gang. Their arrest led to the investigation expanding into Central and Northeast Florida.
Can you imagine all this being taken off of a 1090 Jake video? And a lot of y'all be thinking that this shit on the internet don't be for real. My nigga, that nigga just found a whole treasure trove and didn't have to do no actual police work because 1090 Jake did it all for him.
Names on this list have been identified by law enforcement as leaders of the sex, money, murder, blood gang, or SMM. All 10 suspects are now facing charges related to racketeering, which includes underlying offenses of conspiracy to commit murder, directing gang activity, and money laundering. 23-year-old Andrew Mariano of St. Johns County was the 10th suspected SMM leader taken into custody during a raid on his home in Hastings. According to the Broward Sheriff's Office, the lead agency investigating sex, money, murder, blood gang, the arrest of other suspected leaders led to the discovery of illegal gun and drug trafficking, fraud, conspiracy to commit murder, and even a kill list of the gang's intended victims.
During a press release, The Broward County Sheriff's Office would announce that this was a multi-year investigation that led to these charges against these sex money murder members. Over the course of this investigation, they would discover that this group was allegedly involved in some conspiracies to commit murder, as well as some financial crimes and drug trafficking. Even more notable is that they also announced during this press release that aside from working with the ATF and FBI, they had also partnered with Polk County Sheriff's Office and the Florida Department of Corrections. This directly tied this investigation to the Polk County wiretaps investigation, which led to the arrest of T. Murder. That investigation stemmed from the investigation of a prison gang drug operation that was tipped on by 1090 Jake himself. This would not signify the end of trouble for sex money murder at all. Within days of announcing the charges against the alleged sex money murder members in Florida, the FBI and ATF, who also worked with Broward County Sheriff's Office on this sex money murder case in Florida, and who Detective Danny Polo is also a deputized special agent with, announced charges against alleged sex money murder members in Georgia, including a personality that we know as Hocus 4/5. Hocus would speak out and say that,
damn, that's the situation that WACK is getting the nigga. Damn. So WACK and 1090 Jake helped take down, because Hocus is the nigga that WACK snitching on. That's crazy.
this case is out of Savannah, Georgia.
Picked up by the feds and charged in a sex money murder RICO indictment. I'm laying down in the house. I see sirens outside. And I hear, Hassan Harris, freeze! FBI! Like I'm being pranked. Like, hold on, what? FBI? So they take me into custody. Didn't want to tell me my charges. I get there, and my lawyer shows me that I am charged in a RICO conspiracy based in Savannah, Georgia.
Which is the same place that 1090 Jake said sex money murder was recruiting from on No Jumper.
So I hit up the Island Boys, because they're talking about they were saying they were sex money murder.
Right, yeah.
More or less, the Island Boys were blessed in to sex money murder by a rapper named 21 Murky, who's apparently from Florida but affiliated with 21 Savage's people out in Atlanta.
Detective Danny Polo and his work would be directly connected to this case when a news release would announce that this was a 4-year investigation, starting in the exact year as the investigation in the Florida case, but also announcing that some of the arrests made in connection with this case had been made all across the country, including arrests made in the state of Florida. Some of the overt acts listed even alleged that Georgia members were helping Florida members flee to escape prosecution in crimes committed in the state of Florida. Another thing that happened in 2021, and something that I believe bolstered Detective Danny Polo's credibility as a gang expert and 1090 Jake's credibility as a source of information for these gang experts,
bad teeth.
is Detective Danny Polo.
Terrible teeth. Very, very what the meth.
Polo being introduced to
Stop messing around.
The YNW Melly trial. This was also a kind of bad thing because this is where Detective Danny Polo revealed that 1090 Jake was his source.
Okay, do you see the individual identified as Jamal Simmons in this picture?
Subject right there.
Okay. The other individuals that are in this photo, were you able to identify them?
Yes.
And who are they?
This is Jamal Mitchell, who's in the email chain sent through the YNW Melly booking Gmail account. This is Jaquan Burton, Q-Shine, or Perk, as saved on the phone. This is Derek Dixon, aka Gino, saved on the 9807 phone number.
And the hand signs and symbols that are being shown, what are they indicative of?
So, this hand sign right here, that's a big B for blood. This right here is G-Shine, same hand sign that Melly, or Mr. Demons is throwing out. Same hand sign he puts on his music albums and commonly uses. It's a specific hand sign, just the G-Shine, to the Gangster Killer Bloods. Well, this is a universal hand sign for Bloods. This is universal hand sign for Bloods. This is specific to Gangster Killer Bloods.
When asked to verify how he knows this,
in Atlanta and Georgia in the South, they got this gang called G-Shine. G Shine Gangsta Killer Bloods. Now, I'm not sure what the origin is. I don't know nothing past what I've told y'all, but G Shine Killer Bloods is, yes.
This information in front of the court, Detective Danny Polo would cite 1090 Jake as his source, specifically highlighting two interviews that 1090 Jake had done. One being on No Jumper, the other on Vlad TV. He cited this No Jumper interview because during this interview, 1090 Jake would be...
So y'all not noticing how these No Jumper interviews is being used by the police? I ain't saying that ADAM22 and Vlad are, you know, making people say things, blah, blah, blah. But just keep in mind when you go on these platforms and you do these things, the police are watching, because here we are again.
In the presence of documented members and identify himself as the biggest white blood.
A lot of people like, oh, ain't no white bloods, ain't no this, ain't no that. There really ain't. Right. So at this point in time, not to sound no type of way, but I'm about the biggest known white blood that there is.
1090 Jake would also discuss his blood membership during a Vlad TV interview. It's because of this verification of his membership that Detective Danny Polo took his word at face value when he spoke on certain topics involving the Bloods. One of those topics being the hand signs that Y&W Melly reps.
Me into the Y&W Melly case. Really? Yeah. How so? Because the gang that Melly is repping is my shit.
Besides the fact that Jake basically bragged about being mentioned, something else would bolster his credibility and Detective Danny Polo's credibility. And that's what Detective Danny Polo found.
So you admit that this is your gang, but he got locked up and you didn't, but you the leader? You the one of the biggest? Interesting.
While he was investigating Y&W Melly and his gang ties.
Yo, beloved, what's that is Young Thug pushing now? Young Thug the rapper who just got indicted.
And so it says the response from the 9807 number?
Still the same set. Murder. Murder, not the crime. Murder, sex, money, murder. One of the UBN, United Blood Nation blood sets.
Okay. And then the response as to the fifth floor. What does that mean?
Fifth floor is referring to the ranking system, as I described previously. You call them a fifth floor, call them a five-star general. It depends on what the set wants to use as their title, but it's consistently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, low, high, Godfather, head.
This information about Young Thug and Y&W Melly's connection would spark up the conversation once again about a Florida and Georgia sex, money, murder connection, and this would help Detective Danny Polo further his investigation. Information like this helps with getting search warrants and stuff like that. So at the
federal RICOs,
same time as Detective Danny Polo is learning about this Florida-Georgia connection via this Y&W Melly case with Young Thug being mentioned, 1090 Jake is on the internet going on rants about the Island Boys claiming sex, money, murder, and allegedly being put on by somebody who's from Florida but deals in Georgia. Shortly after that, the Polk County wiretap indictments come out. They got charges against sex, money, murder for running a prison drug operation. Shortly after that, the first round of indictments come out in Georgia, which is mostly Georgia residents, but it also includes somebody from Polk County. Yes, it says Lakeland, Florida, but Lakeland is in Polk County. That's the same Polk County where this sex, money, murder investigation originally began, and the same Polk County that also partnered up with the ATF and FBI during this investigation, along with Broward County and a few other counties. So no, Detective Danny Polo is not some crazed fan who just brings 1090 Jake up because he's popular on the internet. 1090 Jake has proven to be a reliable source for them. And by them, I mean the names that you just saw on that list: the Broward County Sheriff's Office, the ATF, the FBI, Polk County Sheriff's Office, along with the Florida Department of Corrections, which is the agency that he originally provided this tip to.
Every single compound I hit, there was all types of drugs on there, whether it's prescription pills, Molly, some spots there was cocaine and meth, but nothing more common than K2.
Jacob Cherry. Well, if nothing else, I guess we see the true power of what a news interview and a tip can do. And of course, that's speaking from both ends of the spectrum. I'm not saying that 1090 Jake got Young Thug or YNW Melly locked up, but I am saying that during the course of those investigations, 1090 Jake played a crucial role in deciphering gang language and hand signs just by doing what he's been doing on the internet for the past couple of years. And I believe he did that knowingly, especially after the news trip, because there's not much of another type of relationship he could have with them after that, especially when he said that he was using his platform to be a voice, and that's like inviting them to watch your platform at all times. So I believe that he did that knowingly, and it's pretty hard to doubt after the news clip.
Here go the thing too. 1090 Jake is so adamant and so detailed about exposing everybody else's paperwork. You can't tell me that you weren't aware that this is going to happen because you're so knowledgeable about the law when you're breaking down everybody else's cases. So that same law does in fact apply to you.
And you know, the approach that he took to going on the news. But this is just me and my opinions on it. Y'all comment, let me know what y'all.
All right, man, we up out here to the next one, man. Y'all show some love to Byron Blake. Hit him with a like, comment, subscribe. I just did. We up out here to the next one. Y'all know the deal. We are gone.